This is my final presentation for Gauntlet AI week 3. Today, we are tasked to build a desktop app this week that leverage LangChain or other agentic workflows. I decided to build a life optimizer for your professional and personal productivity. So I got a lot of features to show you, so I'm just going to get right into it. First one is a schedule builder. All right, and so what's going to happen here is we're using a multi-step LangChain workflow to basically create your ideal schedule, right? And so you'll see the first agent here is an interview agent, which is going to ask me things like, okay, which day are you talking about? What time period? It's going to ask me questions about energy levels and feeling good. It's going to ask me things about what kind of work I want to do. I need 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. off for meditation, and mood and stress level, good mood, low stress. So I'm just filling this out, guys, and what it's basically doing is it's interviewing me to kind of get the information to build my schedule. So I think you would use this in the morning to kind of build out your schedule with the app. Go for let's see, finish life ops project and go for a walk. All right. So what's going to happen here when I hit submit responses is it starts processing, which means it's kind of thinking about sentiment with a second LangChain agent, right? And now it's kind of processing that. It's building on. Now it's moving on to the third LangChain agent, which is building your personal optimized schedule. Now these things take a second because obviously there's multi-step agentic workflows, but here we go. All right. So you see, if you guys were looking at what I put in here, you saw I put in like read book, the algorithms, and what it did is it added in breaks. It also respected my meditation break that I asked about. And it kind of worked through the full day and built out a full day for me, right? So on this, I can request changes if I want to any one of these things. And yeah, it's kind of a smart, and if I was to click approve and start my day, it would trigger this. It would trigger the fourth agent, which would add this to my calendar, which syncs to my Google Calendar. I'm not going to do that in the interest of time, but there you go. All right. It would also trigger Pomodoros, right? And so Pomodoros are something I believe in a lot. What this would do is add this in a database, in my SQLite database, and what it would do is essentially send triggers to me when things were going to start, so I could set my Pomodoro timer right there. It would send like a notification. And that would allow me to kind of stay on track and stay focused. It would focus in on the specific task I was doing. All right. So last thing on this is you can take the same functionality and do your own task builder if you want. If you don't want to go through the whole agentic flow, you can basically just take that one step and just add task, and you can schedule these tasks. AI will find blocks in your schedule where they could add them to, right? So think when things change during the day, stuff like that. Okay, moving right along here, we're going to move on to the email manager section. And so what's going to happen here, I'm clicking analyze. This is analyzing current emails I'm receiving, and it's going to basically be a smart email manager. All right, so just going to pull up one here. Oh, API usage has reached the notification threshold, pumping my OpenAI API too much. But essentially what's going to happen here is it's going to take this, it's going to take an AI summary of it, it's going to give me a priority, it's going to let me know what this is related to, do I need to respond to it, what's the key point, and what's the action item. And so this will do this for essentially my entire email inbox, right? And so it makes it so much easier to manage email when you just have something like a smart email manager, all right? And so there's that section also. And so we're gonna move right along now into health analytics. Health analytics are taking my actual health data, so I'm not gonna go through this too deep just for privacy concerns. But essentially what it does is 695,000 health records. It kind of tracks my sleep, things like that. This stuff is going to get fed later into the other LangChain function, but so there you go. All right. It read my heart rate 2,200 times this week. Anyways, we'll get out of that. All right, so we're going to move on to relationship email check-in. All right. So I already preloaded this just because it is a long. What's happening here is it's kind of helping me re-engage relationships, right? And so now we're getting into the more social planning elements of the application. All right, and so it's looking at sent emails and people I haven't talked to in a while. So this particular person, Deborah, is a friend of mine, but essentially it brought up her email and she's no longer of this company, so I'm not worried about sharing it. But anyways, it says it's going to generate a catch-up email, right? And essentially that email is going to be based on the full context of our conversation, things like that. And so it's pretty cool, right? Pretty cool feature to think about. So yeah, helps you kind of catch back up with people. Anyways, so keeping through that, it's a nice AI generated reconnection email. All right, moving on to the calendar. So in the calendar, this is going to have, if you guys remember where we were earlier when we were adding events to the calendar, if I was to hit submit, it would add these. You'll see I added a bunch already, right? And it would also, I also have the opportunity to look at birthdays here, right? So it's pulled in, if you guys look at Facebook birthdays, etc. These are some of my friends. I can click on the link and directly wish them happy birthday if I want to, or I can text them if I have their information, all right? And so there's that. Now, so you see that we're making a trigger into the more socially planned functions here, all right? So let's focus on the next one, which I really love. All right, it's called text check-in. And sorry, there we go. All right, so what is happening here is text check-in is gonna analyze my actual text messages, and it's going to match people that I have a phone number with that are also in my ChatGPT file. All right. It's gonna suggest a message. I can sort this any way I want, right? But what's going to happen here is it's going to show contacts and it's going to give me the opportunity to just open up the message, or I can click on this little smart message button and I'll do this here. And what this is going to do, the smart message is going to take into context all of the conversations that I've had with this person throughout the 9 years that I've had a ChatGPT account, right? And so in this particular case, this was a landlord I worked for in my previous job. I'm just going to remove their name real quick. But so we've exchanged 330 text messages, known each other for a year. It's going to take what we've talked about and suggest communications, right? And so it's going to ask me like new projects, renovations, etc., right? Because these are the things we've talked about together. And it will change the context for every person I'm talking about, right? And so it's a really cool feature for people that like, hey, I want to catch up with someone, but I don't know what to talk about, right? And so that's going to lead into the last feature of the app and the one that I'm pretty stoked about called Social Planner, all right? Social Planner is another LangChain flow that follows the same basic pattern as the schedule builder, but this is completely for social life, right? So it's going to interview me. How social am I feeling this week? What do I want to do? Who do I want to connect with? What kind of what am I focused on this week? You know, things like that, right? What kind of like time am I most active? What would make me feel successful socially? What kind of things do I want to do? And I'm going to hit generate my social plan. All right. And so what's going to happen is it's going to analyze my energy level, social connections, email, and my current schedule. And it's going to make suggestions based around there, right? And so here, it made a suggestion to check in with my friend Mitch, my friend Chris, birthday messages here, things like that. It's also over here making health and fitness suggestions as well. And based on what I put in here into the app, right, and just my own personal context. And it's also going to suggest life tasks, right? Meal prep, workout, declutter and organize. And those are just all based on how I answered the interview questions, right? And so I think it's, and so when I built this app, I said to myself, like, how many different areas of cognitive load can I remove, right, in one small sort of contained application? And I thought this was actually kind of a cool way to do it. I know we all need to text our friends more and catch up with people more and have more people in our personal life, right? And I hope maybe something like this, even if it's not this app, it can do it in the future. And so that's what I built. I think it's kind of fun. I'd be interested to see what you guys think, and then we'll take it from there. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.